Do you remember that one time when an executive thought I was your assistant?
Yeah. Tell the story. We walk into a room.
No. So we get
right.
called. Here's the setup for it. We get called into this office of this executive of a $1 billion firm. And we were working in another part of the organization, and there was this meeting. It was just like happenstance. And they said, "Hey, do you have a minute? You know, this person is free. They want to talk to you for a minute." And we were like, "Yeah, of course. Like, let's go." So Brandon is a fast walker, just naturally. He's always 8 paces ahead of everybody, and he's beelining it into this. Like,
I'm a man who knows where he's headed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to say.
Especially when you're following the guy leading you to
fast
the office.
walker is just like you're putting me in a box. I am a man who knows where he's headed.
So I grab my iPad because I'm taking notes. You know, like I'm gonna write down whatever it is we're gonna talk about. And the person leading us walks in, then Brandon, and then I come in maybe 15 seconds later. So notably late, maybe signaling instantly that I am not as important as the people who have just entered the office.
And mind you, you're holding an iPad with an Apple Pencil.
With an Apple, which I have in the other room.
That just looked like you looked like a note taker, like you were just ready.
So the guy leading us, he goes in and he goes, "All right, Nate, Brandon, you know, this is Steve. Steve, this is Nate.
Here's what we're gonna do, everybody."
Yeah, we don't even introduce ourselves. He's just like, "These are these guys," and he goes, "Here's what we're gonna do." He starts talking. Okay, so I'm like, "Listen."
He was giving us gold nuggets, like he was.
Brandon is standing there, like engaged in the conversation. He's like, and he starts going, "Nate, write that down."
Because I don't have an iPad with an Apple Pencil in front of me.
And I'm like taking notes, and then like 30 seconds later. "That's good, Nate. Nate, write that down. Write that down." And I'm like looking at him like, "Dude, you're doing me no favors here. Like I can equally contribute to this conversation." And so this goes on for like 15 minutes.
Should have had you go get me a coffee.
It goes on for 15 minutes. And like we only have 15 minutes with this guy, and I have all these notes. He must have said, "Nate, write that down," maybe 8 times in the course of 15 minutes. Like every 30 seconds, he's like, "Nate, write that down." And so we get out of there, and I was like, "Brandon," he was like, "Dude, that was great. Like, we got a lot of good information." I was like, "He thinks that I'm your assistant. Like, this could be $100,000 project, and I had nothing to say, and I'm just I'm scribing on your behalf."
Yes, you did a great job.
Thank you. I took really good notes. We got the work. So, moral of the story, I don't need to be a part of anything. I can just write.
You guys need note taking? I'll send you Nate's LinkedIn. He'll show up and take notes.
Chief, note. Yeah, let's get rolling.
Yeah. Welcome to the Humanity Sells Podcast, where we talk about the marketing revolution that's happening in tech consulting and how the best businesses are elevating their brand, amplifying their message, and selling more by being more human. We're your hosts, Brandon Triola.
And I'm Nate Nettie. Let's get into it.
Guys, welcome back to the Humanity Sells Podcast. Really excited about today's episode. For all of you left brain, brilliant technical people, we're going to take you over to the right brain today. We're going to
colors.
We're going to take you into the world of creativity.
You ever seen that movie Pleasantville?
I have.
You know, where it's like black and white, and then everything starts to become color.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not commenting on the themes in the movie or the artistic narrative. It is just simply the black and white to color. That's what we're going to do.
If you're listening, just imagine your favorite colors. If you're watching, maybe we'll have some colors splash on the screen or something. Probably not.
If you're not a creative person, colors are things that...
Yeah. Well, I want to get into creativity because I think it's important. Obviously, my title is Chief Creative Officer. I've had creative businesses and managed creative teams and been doing creative things for well over a decade. Really my whole life.
Since you were a kid, yeah.
Since I was a kid. My dad...
He's an unbelievable artist. You guys don't even know the half. He's won awards. He had scholarship for art. He's been in magazines. He's an unbelievable artist.
One of the things that my dad used to do that caused me and my siblings to fall in love with just art is he would come home. My dad's a mechanical engineer. He's brilliant. His name's Tom. His peers describe him as an engineer's engineer. He's really smart. He has been a math tutor to people. I mean, he's a science and mathematical genius. I got the other side of the brain. Somehow, I didn't get those genes. But what my dad did that was really special is he would come home from work. We were really little, and he would have this stack of computer paper, and it was usually like leftover paper from his office. And we would sit at the table, and we would get out colored pencils and markers, and we would draw. We would draw Ninja Turtles and Batman, and it was not only like a cool bonding time with our dad, but it caused me to just fall in love with the idea that I could envision something, imagine it, put my hand on the paper, and make it. And I've always believed, maybe I'm a little bit biased, that creative people are the most innovative people on the planet. Engineers are smart, developers are brilliant. I would even argue that developers are creative, even though it's looked at as a left brain function.
Yeah.
There's an imaginative aspect of it that's very much right brain.
Extremely creative.
Extremely creative. And so creativity has always just been really, really important to me. But it's also a really, really important key to humanizing a business, to humanizing a brand, humanizing how people relate to the offerings, products that you have. We talked about it in the packaging design episode a little bit. Everything comes down to packaging design. Everything is a product on the shelf. We talked about Liquid Death. Liquid Death is just a perfect example of this because they're just it's just a creative strategy.
Yeah.
What they did. It's packaging design. And it's no different when it comes to a website or an offering or a tech product or a managed service, how you package it up, right? Creativity is really important. I want to share a little stat. Creativity drives brand success. McKinsey did this huge study. Businesses who have a creative focus, who value creativity, 67% achieve above average organic revenue growth.
Ooh, organic.
67% achieve above average organic revenue growth. 70% had above average returns to shareholders. 70%. This is brands that just have a focus and a value on creativity. And then 74% had above average net enterprise value.
Wow.
These are just highly creative brands that focus on creativity. It doesn't matter what industry, just brands that say we value creativity, we're going to focus on it. So that's what I want to start with. And then I want to tell a story because stories are really important and creativity is really important.
Yeah,
and I want to talk about the value and importance of investing in your creative people and what you need to give your creative people to really help move your business forward.
Go for it.
While I suck at math, I'm not the greatest at math. Thankfully, you're really, really great at math. We've got great math people on our team. I hire great math people. I don't do the great math.
He says that.
I say that. One thing I'm also not great at is plants, keeping plants alive. And I love the idea of plants. These are real plants right next to us. I did not water these plants or create. These plants were here when we got here. Had they been my plants, they'd probably be fallen over and wilted. And I learned this the hard way when a couple years ago, I spent $150 on a fiddle leaf fig tree.
There's one right behind you.
Exactly. It's doing well. Mine did not. And 6 months into having this fiddle leaf fig, the leaves started falling off. It started dying. And I'm like, what is going on? And I started looking it up. I started doing research. Turns out my wife and I were like doing some spring cleaning. We had moved the tree. We just moved it from one corner of the room to the other.
That'll do it.
And I didn't know this, but moving a fiddle leaf fig tree will kill it. Something about they need to stay in one spot. And I learned not only did I suck at plants, but much like that fiddle leaf fig tree, creative people need specific things in order to grow. I'm not talking about moving or not moving. Just like plants need sunlight, they need water. Creative people need their own specific sort of nurturing in order for them to not just grow, but for them to impact business value.
So you're saying that creative people are not nurtured like accounting folks or operations folks or other functions of the business. Creative people kind of need to be taken care of a little bit separately.
By and large, creative people actually are nurtured the same as everybody else and treated the same as everybody else. And that's why I'm submitting to you. You're not getting the best out of them.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going. Unpack
So
it.
really, when it comes down to it, I just read the data. Like if you have a focus and a value for creativity for your business, I don't care if you're a technology consultant or a digital transformation leader, if you sell complex left brain technical things, you should value creativity, right? Like there's data. I won't get into more data about that, but you probably have creative people on your team. Like you probably have a marketing team. You probably have graphic designers. You probably have, who knows? You may have a video team. You may have there are creative people on your team. And over the last probably 20 years, I have learned there are 3 things that you've got to give creative people in order for them to grow and for you to get more of their business. And the first thing is, contrary to how most teams are managed, creative people need more encouragement than other kinds of people.
Well, that's interesting because I feel like writ large, organizations motivate through like challenge.
Hammer droppers, I call
Hammer
them.
droppers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this feels like in direct contrast, like that they need encouragement feels in direct contrast to like the operating model of most large businesses.
Yeah. Well, most large
Fear-based, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Most large businesses still operate with an operating model or a management model. There's a lot of studies about this too. Like most large businesses are still managing their teams like the Industrial Revolution factories manage their
Ooh,
teams.
really?
Yeah.
Dude,
be
that's
efficient,
wild. Yeah.
Be faster, get it done. You yell at somebody when they mess up, you drop the hammer. This is the baby boomer generation. This is what they're used to. Did your dad ever yell at you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not because you're and your dad's awesome.
I got yelled at so much.
I love your dad.
This is the best.
My dad's awesome too. We got yelled at.
But I got yelled at.
That
My
was the
dad is
toolkit.
Italian. Yeah.
Yelling at people, coming down on them for not meeting a standard is the toolkit that was given to the generation before us. Now, I'm not saying everybody operates that way, right?
Yeah, certainly not.
And I'm not even saying that it's not like
Sometimes it's
completely-
merited.
Sometimes it's totally merited. Like there are times in my life when I probably should have been yelled at louder. So I'm not saying like, but I'm saying when you're running a creative team and you're trying to get business value out of your most creative people,
Yeah.
they need encouragement. So
Yeah.
the first thing that I'd say you could do that you need to do is have your creative directors or the people that are managing your creative teams operate with the Oreo cookie, right? We've all heard this probably. If you ever grew up going to youth groups or you were in, church leadership teams, they gave you this model. It's start with something positive. Hey, I really like what you've done here. Great V1. This is cool. I see where you're headed with this. Let's talk about where it's missing the mark now. And then the tougher feedback right in the middle. Tougher feedback in the middle, and then sandwich it up with something positive. This is great. I really like where it's headed. I can't wait to see what you come up with. That is the simplest 3-step way to encourage a creative person on a daily basis, or at least in their work.
Not even if you're their direct leader, but like let's say you're a practice lead that's utilizing a creative team internally
Yep.
to get some sales enablement
Absolutely.
done. Don't berate them. What you have to do, give them an Oreo model.
Yep.
Tell them what you love about
This
it.
is wrong. It looks like crap. Don't.
It's not going to sell.
Yeah. Now, some creative people can take it. I can take it. But what I've learned managing other creatives,
You're not going to get the most out of them.
they will go away. They will sit at their desk. They will internalize everything you said, and they will feel worthless, and they will feel a sense of guilt and shame that will take days to be peeled off of them. Because by nature, we creative people, we are emotional creatures. We care deeply about what we create, which is why we're so valuable.
Sure.
This is why your creative people are so valuable to your team. It's because they care so deeply about what they're making, because we use the fibers of our DNA to make what we're making. So when you just lead with sucks, no, this is not good.
Yeah.
And sometimes they need to hear that, but it's how you deliver it is really important. So encouragement is the first thing. The second thing, it's going to sound really practical, and the left brain people will be like, yes, creative people need deadlines. You cannot say, hey, we'd like to see something. Here's the vision for what we have. Let us know when you can get it to us. Do not do that with your creative people. Creative people, like I said, we're emotional. They can be whimsical. If you give a creative person an open-ended deadline, the work will never get done.
That is so true of me. I would say that like in college, I would get, we'd all get those assignments on like the first day for the semester. I'm working on it the last week of the semester.
Yeah.
I had months to do it. Now I'm staying up all night, drinking coffee.
And here's a secret. If you say to your creative person, I would like to have a V1 by Friday the 10th, they might work on it on Friday the 9th, but you will get the best.
Thursday the 9th.
Thursday the 9th. They might work on it the day before, but it will be awesome. And some creative people operate that way. Some will start, weeks in advance, but the deadline is really important because that's what actually pulls the best creativity out of them.
So give them encouragement, give them a deadline. What's the third one?
And the third thing that creative people need, if you want to get business value out of your creative people, if you want to get innovative, creative ideas that cause people to want to buy your offerings and cause people to want to get on calls and book demos with your sales team, they need space. You cannot micromanage. You cannot Frankenstein everything they're working on. Give them space to be dangerously good. And space is dangerous because
You don't know.
I haven't seen Gary in 2 days. He's working on that thing we told him to work on. Like, what Gary's doing is Gary's in his muse cage. And Gary's going to make something amazing. And yeah, you're going to have to give him the Oreo cookie feedback, and he's not going to hit a home run on the first time. But micromanagement really only results in creative people making safe things. Let me say that again. When you micromanage creative people, they make really, really, really safe things. And safe things are okay sometimes. But if you want to tell the world that you're innovative, that your digital transformation business is on the cutting edge, that you are a thought leader when it comes to emerging solutions, that's a phrase that gets thrown out. And then the things that face the market did not look very innovative.
They're not emerging
They
solutions.
look kind of safe.
Yeah.
Guess what you've done? That's you're probably micromanaging your creative people. So give them space. Like, have creative directors that let them go away and make things, and then give them feedback in an encouraging way, and give them deadlines and give them space. And then there's a bonus. I know I said 3 things, but the bonus is challenges. Creative people need challenges. Giving them the same old stuff to do all the time. Your creative people are dreamers, and they're going to go, they're constantly being inspired by things. As a leader at your business, find really challenging, fun things to give them to work on. Let them be involved in the live event strategy. Hey, we're going to a live event. We've got this booth space. We got the backdrop we need to create. Maybe let them just get weird. Let them do some weird things that are going to grab attention. Let them have some fun. Hey, we need to build a landing page for this offering. Let them go crazy. Let them do something wild. Give them a challenge. Give them challenges to hit. Like, hey, we want to do something crazy, but these are the metrics that it needs to hit. Have fun with it. When you give your creative people, when you give them, let's go back through all of them. When you give them encouragement, when you give them deadlines, when you give them space, and when you give them challenges, they will create amazing things for your business. They will make your business stand out, and they'll have a ton of fun, and they will feel seen as human beings. I think that's the biggest thing, is they will feel seen and heard as human beings, and they will stay at your business for a long time, and they will make you money for a long time.